The World Cup is 4 months away, and the full coverage here on the channel starts now. And today we're going to start with Group B. And the reason I'm choosing Group B is not because I don't know the alphabet. I know the alphabet, okay? It's just because it's the group that the United States is in, and that is our main focus. But we will be doing a full coverage of the World Cup itself. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to a full Group B preview where we're going to talk about Iran, England, the United States, and Wales. For this video, we're going to go through oversimplifying how each national team made it to the World Cup, the path they faced, mention some strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, that's it. I don't have time to talk about every single one in detail. We're going to do an exclusive video for each team soon. And obviously we can do many videos like this for every single group. Just comment down below which group you want us to do and which national team you want us to do a coverage, as well as we have already done one for Brazil. I'm putting the link for that video on the description. The video breaking down Brazil, United States as well. But I can do other national teams as well, as we will be covering the United States and all South American nations in the World Cup, along with many other national teams. Don't forget to hit that like button to, help out the channel, or dislike button if you hate everything I say. And one more thing before I play the intro and start the preview right here, I will be giving for each national team my favorite player or player that I'm looking forward to the most. Feel free to comment down below also your favorite player of each national team in Group B. Okay, let's play the intro and let's start this preview. As I said, the four national teams of Group B are Iran, England, Wales, and the United States. And the first team we're going to talk about here, or national team, is going to be England, the Three Lions. So England qualified to the World Cup with ease. They were placed in a group in UEFA World Cup qualifying with Poland, Albania, Hungary, Andorra, and Harry Kane's favorite opponent, San Marino. England found no trouble in this group by getting 8 wins and 2 draws in 10 matches played, with 39 goals scored and only 3 goals allowed throughout the 10 matches. Now, being 100% non-biased and rational here, that is a very impressive campaign regardless of the level of opposition that they were facing. Because at the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you, and that's what they had in front of them, and they beat the living crap out of them. That probably isn't even legal. England also came into this World Cup, or comes into this World Cup, after falling short in 2 occasions of getting themselves a major trophy by losing to Croatia in 2018 at the semifinals of the World Cup. And yeah, they had an easy bracket for that World Cup to make it to the semifinals, but that's not relevant for this video. And again, as I said, you can only beat what's in front of you, and it just seems to happen way too often for England of getting an easy bracket. The other time they fell short was in 2021 during the Euros. England managed to lose at home to Italy in the final. Again, they got an easier bracket than England, but you can only beat what's in front of you, and they lost to Italy in the final, and they failed to get one of those 2 major trophies, which they honestly haven't won since 1966 when they hosted the World Cup. Okay, so England is clearly the best team of this group. They're stacked on paper, and I fully expect them to top this group, and so should you, at least based on the names and players that they have, despite their track record of, underperforming. But look, despite being stacked on paper, this team has issues. And in my opinion, it starts right away with their manager, Southgate. Obviously, it mostly comes down to him, to Southgate, as most of the issues I'm going to address here in this video really all branch out of him, pretty much. England in the past loved long ball merchants. This team has actual technical players, many of them, if I'm being completely honest. Despite that, they really struggle to create through the middle when facing tougher opposition, or even when a team just parks the bus. Also, we saw that a few times, even with Hungary lately. But why is that? I mean, he does have the players to, be much more creative or much better just play better soccer or football. If you're English, you probably prefer me to use football. However, the constant need to play 2 defensive midfielders such as Phillips and Rice just to make up for the poor backline that Southgate puts kind of ruins the creativity of this team a little bit. I mean, Harry Maguire can be abysmal at times. How does Tomori not start for this team? And that beats the living crap out of me. To me, Tomori is a much better center back than Harry Maguire. I think most people can agree that Harry Maguire probably shouldn't be starting for the national team or for Manchester United, but it is what it is. And don't come with the nonsense that he performs well for the national team. He's probably going to cost England a point or two in this World Cup. The lack of creativity from England, that's quite noticeable, sometimes even forces Harry Kane to be the main playmaker and goal scorer of this team. That's why very often we see Harry Kane sometimes drop so much. And I know we do see that with Tottenham as well, with the Spurs. But with England, sometimes you don't even know his role with the team. So why doesn't Southgate experiment with different tactics? Maybe combining Tammy Abraham and even with Harry Kane playing behind him as a playmaker or a possible goal-scoring threat. You know, Harry Kane, despite being capable of scoring a lot, he can essentially provide incisive passing and creativity through the middle. Or maybe just play a pure 10. England does have those options of pure 10s. I mean, Mason Mount, for example, he's not a pure 10 if you look at it, right? If you put him as an attacking midfielder, he's more of a pressing 10. And he can also play wide very well for Chelsea and for the national team. But I'm talking about a play-making 10. Look, there's a lot that we can dive into, but I'm not going to do it in this video. Been watching England quite a bit lately, more than I'm comfortable with because they do put me to sleep. I can make a whole video focused on England and even bring in guests to talk about their strengths and weaknesses. Just let me know in the comment section down below. Now look, I am far from an expert on the Three Lions. There's people that know a lot more about England than myself because they probably followed England forever, and it's kind of hard to watch their games. They put me to sleep since probably 2006 beyond. But I do want to make this clear. I haven't seen Southgate being capable of adjusting or maximizing the talent England currently has. Despite the good results with the World Cup semi-final run and the Euro final run, those were great accomplishments, but the context matters. And I mean, we talked about the easy brackets, and they've had enough talent to win those trophies, which they failed to do so. Regardless of everything that I'm saying in terms of criticizing England, I fully expect them to go through this group and to honestly top this group. And as I said, just for fun, my favorite player from England that I'm looking forward to seeing in this World Cup is Jude Bellingham. He's been improving more and more each season. He's probably one of the most talented English players I've seen in a while. And he'll probably be in the English Premier League very soon, leaving Borussia Dortmund, if he hasn't already by the time that you're watching this video. All right, we're done with England. Now we're gonna try to pick up the pace of this video and we're gonna go to Iran. Iran qualified to the World Cup by topping Group A of the third round of the Asian qualifiers. And it was not the most challenging group or challenging qualifiers. And from an American perspective, neither is CONCACAF, let's be honest. You can still only beat what is in front of you, as we talked about with England as well. Their group was composed of 6 nations for this qualifier. Along with Iran, you had South Korea that finished in second place, followed by the UAE, Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon. For this group, Iran played 10 games, and with those 10 games, they got 8 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss, along with 15 goals scored and only 4 allowed, which it's pretty good if you ask me. But there is one big question mark that must be raised about this campaign that Iran had in qualifiers. It looks impressive when you talk about 10 games, 8 wins, 1 draw, 1 loss, but there is one big issue. During these qualifiers, they defeated all of the weaker nations that didn't qualify to the World Cup. All their 8 wins were against them. Now, against South Korea, which would be the most challenging national team that's also qualified to the World Cup, they managed to tie them 1-1 at home, and they lost 2-0 away, which raises the question: how will this current Iran squad do against stronger competition, which in the World Cup, it's going to be South Korea level or higher? They have not really faced any team outside of Asia since the 2018 World Cup, besides a 2-1 loss to Algeria this past June. So it's hard to judge how this team will play. Plus, the team doesn't seem to be as strong as they were when they had Carlos Queiroz in charge back in 2018. But wait. Their current coach, Skocic, got fired. Kinda, sorta, maybe not. It's confusing. Iran, right now, it's in a very messy situation. By Messi, I don't mean Lionel Messi. I mean Messi as in crap situation between the federation, coaching staff. There's a lot going on. So look, this is what Araya, a friend of the channel from Go Bizan that has been here before, reported on the current coaching situation of Iran. He said, update on Team Melli's coaching situation. As of now, they are stalling the dismissal of Skocic because there's too many voices in the federation. The new IFF, which is the federation president, hasn't been elected yet, and all the candidates are trying to have their say. Meanwhile, Skocic is pledging his case to stay as the national team coach. So it looks like he'll get fired. If he does, it seems more likely they're going to hire a coach from Iran, so it wouldn't be much of an upgrade, but at least he'll know the player pool, and it looks like a return from Carlos Queiroz is not likely, but we don't know yet at the time of this recording, so I don't know what to think about it. It's really not a good look considering we're only 4 months away from the World Cup. So back in 2018, when they were under Carlos Queiroz, this is something we do have to mention, they were quite impressive in the World Cup. They managed to beat Morocco, they tied Portugal of Cristiano Ronaldo, and they lost to Spain just 1-0. So it was kind of impressive, but can the current team perform at that level or better? I am not sure. To me, the main issue with Iran is depth. In my opinion, a fully healthy Iran squad can cause trouble to any team in this group. But the loss of 2 or 3 starters, and you'll have a major drop. Unlike England and the United States that could afford to lose 1 or 2 starters and still keep a similar level to their best performance. Another issue is not having many players competing at the top leagues of the world, besides maybe 5 players total in their roster. But this team has grit, fight in them, and a lot of determination, and that makes it hell to deal with them. It's very tough to play Iran under any circumstances. They won't go down easily, and obviously the superstar of this team and player I'm looking forward to seeing is Taremi from Porto, the center forward that's absolutely fantastic. Or forward, sometimes he can play a little bit out wide. I mean, the guy has now averaged well over 30 goal contributions per season for the past 2 seasons for Porto. He is easily the second best center forward in this group, only behind Harry Kane, which is a true superstar. Now, Taremi is definitely not alone, as the squad also has Usmnt from Bayer Leverkusen, which is another big name to watch out for. But for me, Taremi is the one that can make a difference in this team and the one I'll be looking forward to watching during the World Cup. Will Iran advance from the group stage for the first time in their history? Only time will tell. They have played 5 World Cups in the past and never got out of the group stage. Personally, I don't think they will. I still firmly believe the United States and England are the 2 teams that will go through the group stage. And with that said, we wrap up the section of Iran and we go straight into the United States of America. The United States, our U.S. men's national team. And I won't be diving into this team too much in this video because we already do that all the time here on the channel. There will definitely be a full U.S. men's national team preview here in the channel at one point. But let's talk a little about the U.S. men's national team and how they made it to Qatar. So, after the United States failed to qualify in 2018 for the Russia World Cup, the United States is back and will play in the 2022 Qatar World Cup. But how do we get here? The United States qualified in CONCACAF by finishing in 3rd place behind Mexico and Canada, which is not a good look. Technically, we barely qualified as we were ahead of Costa Rica only due to goal differential. In the 4th place would have to go play the Interconfederate playoffs versus New Zealand, which Costa Rica, by the way, went there and defeated New Zealand and qualified to the World Cup as well. I'm not going to lie, as optimistic as I am for the current U.S. men's national team generation, it is a little bit worrisome when you go through CONCACAF and qualifying 3rd only by goal differential, okay? Definitely not a good look, but don't underestimate the Americans. It was a bumpy ride for the U.S. men's national team. In 14 games during this campaign, the United States won 7 games, tied 4, and lost 3. Not the best of numbers when considering the competition you face in CONCACAF. Probably the most alarming part of the campaign was how different this team behaved in home and away matches. At home, in 7 games, the United States won 6 matches and tied 1, undefeated. Great campaign. However, away, in 7 games, the United States got only 1 win, that was against Honduras, the worst team of World Cup qualifying, got 3 draws and 3 losses. A major drop-off. I guess if you tell the United States they're playing at home in Qatar, we might even win the World Cup. But if you tell them we're playing away, we'll get lucky if we get 1 point out of it. But jokes aside, Qatar will be a neutral ground. So we'll see how the United States behaves when they're not playing at home or away, just neutral. Throughout the campaign, there have also been several questionable call-ups, rotations, and bounce passes from the U.S. men's national team coach Greg Berhalter. Yes, if you're not American, you should know this. He does some awesome, very cool, behind the back bounce passes. Go check it out. It's on YouTube. And in terms of his coaching, it's also been questionable, somewhat like Southgate, I would say, or similar to a certain extent. Now, on the positive, this U.S. men's national team squad will likely be the youngest one in the World Cup and has a lot of exciting young talents like Giovanni Reina from Borussia Dortmund, Christian Pulisic from Chelsea at the time of this recording, Weston McKennie from Juventus, Serginho Dest from Barcelona, Yunus Musa from Valencia, Tyler Adams and Brendan Aronson from Leeds United, and much more. It will be interesting to see how they do after failing to qualify in 2018 with a lost generation. The United States now comes in with what is most certainly the most talented generation we've ever had. And in the past, we have done much more and gotten out of tougher groups with much less talent. So I expect nothing less, and I expect the U.S. men's national team to get past the group stage. The player I'm looking forward to the most with the U.S. men's national team in this World Cup is Giovanni Reina. To me, he's the highest ceiling player we have right now, and maybe even in the United States' history. Is he the best player right now in this team? No, there's players like Pulisic, Weston McKennie, and a few others that are ahead of him because he just came out a very injury-prone like season, even though I don't think he's injury-prone. But in terms of ceiling, he is a player that if he reaches his potential could be near or even at a world-class level. So Giovanni Reina is the player I'm looking forward to the most with the U.S. men's national team. Now, most viewers here are American, which is why I did not go much in depth for the U.S. men's national team. So don't forget to comment down below which USMNT player is your favorite or you're most excited about, and we'll most certainly do a heavier coverage of the United States in the future. Again, I do have some concerns with the United States in terms of our coach, Greg Berhalter. And depth in certain positions, like the left back position, is something that I'm very much worried about, as we only have Jedi Robinson as a reliable option, along with the U.S. men's national team not really having a reliable 9, a center forward. But don't worry, I'll make more U.S. videos in the future, and I'll detail my concerns and how hopefully we can fix it or not. This one's more of an overall preview of all the teams in this group, so I'm just skimming through the United States here. Yeah, but as I said, England goes through, Iran doesn't, United States does. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about Wales. And obviously, I don't think Wales will go through. I actually think Wales is the weakest of the 4 teams in this group. The Welsh won't be happy with this comment. But let's go to Wales. Wales returns to the World Cup, a tournament they have not played since 1958, which was Pele's first World Cup. The first World Cup Brazil actually won. It's been a while. I'm not that old, but not even my dad was born the last time Wales played in a World Cup. Almost as bad as Canada. Not just that, Bale. We finally get to see Bale play a World Cup. To which, if they miss this one, he would likely, never play one. I mean, he will be 36 by 2026. And, he has headed to MLS, so he's probably 3 or 4 years away from retirement at this point. No offense to MLS, but he is probably more towards the end of his career and most certainly is already past his prime at this point. But how did Wales get to the World Cup? How did they return? For World Cup qualifying, Wales was placed in the same group as Belgium, to which obviously Belgium finished first, as we know they're in the World Cup, and Wales finished second, which led them to the UEFA playoff rounds. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to the group real quick. Wales finished ahead in the group in second place, only behind Belgium, ahead of the Czech Republic, Estonia, and Belarus. Yeah, so it was pretty much them and the Czech Republic battling out for the second spot behind Belgium. Wales finished the campaign with 4 wins, 3 draws, and only 1 loss in 8 matches. Which is not bad, and it shows that this team, despite not being the most talented team or the best team, they are very tough to defeat. Only 1 loss in 8 games. And the 1 loss they had was against Belgium away. So that's pretty damn reasonable. Belgium wasn't able to defeat Wales at Wales. Even though the game they tied Belgium at home, if you're Welsh and you watch that game or from Belgium, Wales got very lucky. Regardless, they didn't lose to Belgium at home. But you see, the same time they can pull results like tying Belgium at home, they did tie also Estonia at home, and they barely beat Estonia away, just 1-0. What I'm trying to say is Wales lacks quality, from being completely honest, but they can make up with it by getting tough results against tough elite teams. But to qualify to Qatar, Wales had to go through the UEFA playoffs, as I was saying before. For the semifinals, Wales defeated Austria 2-1 in a match where Gareth Bale took it upon himself, scored a brace, and got them through. Yeah, MLS star Gareth Bale, LAFC star Gareth Bale. Yeah, he's an MLS player, and he will most certainly be the best player for Wales in this World Cup. Also an elite golfer. Then, for the final of the UEFA playoffs, they had to go play Ukraine, which they defeated Ukraine 1-0. Goal scored, yes, you guessed it, Gareth Bale. Actually, not really. Sort of Bale. I would say Bale was directly involved with the goal, almost like he got the assist, but it was an own goal. It was an own goal from Yarmolenko after a free kick taken by Gareth Bale. But again, you get what I'm saying. Wales is Bale FC. Now, Rob Page, the man in charge of Wales, which, by the way, Page is in charge because Ryan Giggs had to step down due to the domestic violence trial. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. So back to Page. We'll have a tough challenge to go through this group stage. Rob Page will have a tough challenge. That's what I'm trying to say. And yes, Wales will depend a lot on the coaching staff getting the right tactics and Gareth Bale being in good form. The combination of that, and they could give any team a run for their money and maybe even go through the group stage, which would be a major surprise, but it's very much possible. It's the World Cup. Crazy stuff can happen. It'll also be very important for players like Dan James, Aaron Ramsey, Ben Davies, and even Brennan Johnson, a young emerging player that helped Nottingham Forest return to the Premier League. All of them need to be healthy and at their best. However, as I said, I do expect the United States and England to go through. And that's two teams. You can only have two teams out of the four going out of the group stage. So I have United States and England going through, Wales and Iran getting knocked out. And obviously for Wales, the player I'm going to be watching out for and favorite player right there is Gareth Bale. I want to see how this time in MLS will affect him for the better or for the worse. His time in Real Madrid definitely didn't do much good to him. I want to put it that way. I don't want to get into that very much. We'll see how these 6 months in MLS will get him more in form or out of form. LAFC will make it to the playoffs, so he will have more games leading into the World Cup in November. Right, everyone, that does it for this preview. Group B, to me, is one of the most balanced groups in this World Cup. Despite this World Cup having many balanced groups, this is one of the most balanced of them all. You have England that has so much more talent than all the other teams, but really does underperform against weaker sides. You have the United States with a lot more talent than Iran and Wales, but very young and inconsistent and poorly coached at times. Wales that maybe lacks talent but has experience in a player like Gareth Bale and grit. And Iran that makes it tough to any team. So it's a very balanced team. Let me know in the comment section down below, who do you think will advance? United States, Iran, England, or Wales? Also, don't forget to comment down below, do you want us to do another group? And if you do want us to do another group, let us know which groups you want us to make a video just like this one here in the channel, and which national teams you want us to do a preview just like the one we did for Brazil. We'll be doing a heavy coverage for the World Cup coming the next few months, and as the World Cup approaches, more and more videos will come out. Obviously, during the World Cup, there will be a heavy coverage of the United States, Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador, and Uruguay, and we'll kind of cover everything else as well, but mostly focused on those. Thank you, BetOnline, for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to smash like before you go. Thank you for watching. See you soon, and have a great day.